Hi, I'm Keillor, and I'm going to show you how to build my Dryptosaurus kit. The kit comes in 9 pieces. Before gluing, check the seams on all of the pieces and test fit the parts. Sand or scrape the parts as needed. Now, start with the head. Hold it in place and check the placement all the way around. Use crazy glue to secure. Just a few drops will wick into the crack. Be careful not to glue your fingers. It only takes a few seconds to hold tight. And now you can do the same for the tail. And the same for the legs. You can get a better fit at the knees. The undersides of the legs won't be seen, so it's not as important. This is also true for any seams or misaligned parts on the bottom side of any of the kit pieces. They won't really show, so go for the best fit and appearance on the areas that will be easily seen. And then do the same for the arms. Some people like to wash a model kit either before painting or before gluing the parts together to remove any molding residue that might be there that would prevent glue from sticking or paint from sticking. I didn't use a release agent in my mold, just talc, so washing isn't really mandatory in this instance. The parts should be ready to go as is. I've got a few drops of acrylic paint on a paper plate palette and some small paintbrushes. I'm using a peachy color for the inner mouth area, the gums, the tongue, the inner lips. And I'm just totally covering the teeth at this point. You don't have to worry about going around the teeth. Now a darker red, a maroon in the deeper crevices for depth. And then do the same for the inside of the upper jaw. And now a white or cream color for the teeth. And now the jaw is ready to be glued on. I'm using Epoxy Sculpt, a 2-part epoxy putty to fill my seam lines. A pea-sized ball of the part A and part B are well needed to make a sticky clay-like putty. I'm smearing a small amount into any seam that is open or misaligned slightly. And then I'll use a small tool to smooth the putty into place. There are lots of different kinds of putty for model kit seaming. You could check online or at a hobby or good craft store to see what's available. Now, with a slightly bigger brush, I'll begin painting. I'm using the color scheme that I previously established for my life-sized Dryptosaurus head, but you can use any colors you'd like. It's anyone's guess. Again, I'm using a few drops of acrylic paint on a paper plate palette. I'm using black along the back, and I'll use a darker and a lighter gray along the sides, blending to a creamy underbelly. I use short strokes and a dabbing motion to apply the paint. Set it down to dry for a while when you need to change your grip on the model to get a new area. Be sure you don't miss any spots. Blotches of color break up and blend the light and dark areas. I'm using a bright red color for the throat pouch, like the color of a rooster's comb. And with that smaller brush, I begin stippling or dabbing on paint to break up and model the surface. And now I'm just dirtying the underside of it between the toes and underneath where it would get dirty and splashed with mud. I use a metallic gold color for the eyeballs. And then with that small brush, black for some fine scales. Lots of tiny scale spots along the lips. And a black dot for the pupil. Now, with an old toothbrush, I apply a fine spatter of light and then dark freckly spots to add more detail. Finally, over the black, I stipple a dark brown color. The bases I made fit nicely with the feet of the first several kits I made, but after casting several dozen, I noticed that either one foot or the other fit, but something seems to have shrunk or warped in the mold. The resin has a little flex, so you can pry the feet and glue them to fit into the sockets, or just glue one foot or the other into a footprint and make it look like he's about to get up and take a step. Paint the base, then glue the model in place. Advanced modelers might omit the base, make their own custom base, or even place the model into a diorama. Here's a closer look at my finished kit.